Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay.
My name is John Goldwood. I'm president of the Local Village Council for approximately 2 more hours. And I welcome you all to our annual meeting for 2025, and thank you all for being here. It's sometimes it's a sacrifice that comes to meetings like this, and on a day like today, it's probably a real sacrifice for some of you to give up that afternoon out in the sunshine. So we're delighted to have you here, and we'll hopefully make your time here feel worthwhile before you by the time you're done. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm officially calling the 2025 Port Little Village Council annual meeting to order at 3:06 p.m. We're ready to roll. You'll have an opportunity to meet the board members that have been serving you here for the past year. You'll have an opportunity to meet some new folks that have stepped up for next year. You'll hear our financial report. We'll get kind of an overview of what we've been up to for the past year. And you'll hear committee reports from the folks that have been really doing a lot of the work for the community over the past 12 months. And then we will open it up for member comments at the end of that time. We'll try and keep the comments to a couple minutes each if we can. And then once that is all finished, we'll give our hospitality crew a couple of minutes, and they will get things ready here behind the screen. And you'll have an opportunity to share in some wine and light appetizers here as we wind up our year. So once again, thanks for being here with us today. So current board members, I will point them out kind of as we go from right to left. So Tam McDermott, Tracy Geipel, Joan, Howard, Lois, John Catcho, Carolyn, and Jeff, and I'm John Goldwood. And so the 10 of us have been primarily responsible for either the good news or the bad news that's come from Village Council over the last 12 months. I wanted to mention two other folks that served the council earlier and who are no longer on the council, but Bob Gilbert and Kay Mall provided a lot of energy and benefit for us about a year ago when we were coming out of a bit of a dark time, and they were with us for about 6 months and provided a tremendous amount of support for us. So I wanted to thank Bob and Kay both. Bob is here in front. Kay will be not able to join us today. She no longer lives in this area, but she will be here for the pet parade, paw parade, sorry, I have to get it correctly.
Canine parade now.
No, okay, it's involved.
Been renamed 3 times.
It's a canine parade on Saturday at the marina area, right?
Yes.
So, anyway, so Kay will be there as well. So our newest candidates who have been voted on already prior to this meeting: Gary Hammond, Colleen Jones, Chris Woolley. Well, I asked him, and actually it's Woolley. So anyway, all 3 of them have stepped up as new members of the council for 2026. Tracy and Jeff are re-upping. They served us this past year, and they're coming back for 2026, being the gluttons for punishment that they are. And we're delighted to have them rejoining us, as well as our new members joining us as well. The new council, as it currently is constituted, has 10 members coming into 2026. Last year, one of our changes that we made to the board structure was to increase the potential number of members on the board up to 15. So the 3 that volunteered went through an election process and have been elected to the board already. The way our bylaws and policies and procedures are constituted, we have the opportunity now for those who might be interested in joining the village council but didn't have the opportunity to participate in the election. The board of directors has the opportunity to appoint and vote on bringing new members into the village council. So for those of you who have any potential interest after you hear the presentation today, or if you have friends and neighbors in the community that you think might be good candidates or interested in it, they can indeed participate in the year ahead. Just reach out to us at info@portlevelvillagecouncil.org and let us know of your interest or their interest, and we'll reach out and make a connection. So John Cacho is our retiring treasurer. He will present our financial. Good afternoon. I'm giving you a short report. Can you hear me all right? I'm giving you a short report on the finance PLEC. Go to the next slide. This is.
Oh, there you go.
So for PLEC, we rely totally on donations from the Port Ludlow community. We don't have any other source of income other than donations. And if you look at this top chart, you see last year, first line, beginning cash balance last year when we started this year was $949. That's kind of low. We wouldn't have made it, but thanks to the donations we received over the year, from October to now, we've received $30,846, almost $31,000. Which was enough to keep us operating and enough to support us in the future. So as a member of the PLC board, I appreciate everybody who's made that donation to help us go, keep going, and hopefully continue to do good things next year. Our expenses are typically around $15,000 if you look at the bottom there. It says total expenses, $14,855. It's typically $15,000. It's about that much every year. Half of it is, or $7,000, about half, is stuff that we do for a contribution to the Trails Committee. It's also to support the Village Voice. You can see there that we have $2,400 and $1,000 to Trails. Plus, it also covers mandatory insurance. Mandatory insurance is for the PLEC organization, so we can protect our officers and those who support us, and also for the Trails Committee. It's the insurance is something like $3,500 to do all that. So if you add those three together, it's about $7,000, about half of the money. The rest comes from typical things you do for any organization. You can redesign it. We have committee expenses, like emergency preparedness. Other committees need money to do the good things they're doing. We have PLC business expenses. We have to run a website. We have a storage area to keep all our good stuff. We have some communication systems like Zoom we pay for. We have some banking things we do. So we have expenses, and then we have election costs. Last year was fairly expensive, and it showed up in this election cost because we used a website-based election system. It was fairly expensive. And this year we're not using it. We've done more of a mail-in vote, a quieter online vote, and we saved a lot of money for that. So that's our expenses. I mean, basically, it totals up to almost $15,000, and that's about all I can say about it. It's not any questions or anything that I address. Okay. Thank you very much.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, John. We can move on to the next slide.
Yeah, put that one.
Well, it's been a quiet year here in Port Woolton.
He was a fan of mine, still is. I love this community. My wife and I have been here 6 years now, and we're fond of the community. And despite that fondness, there are times when I want to rename it from being a village in the woods by the bay. I want to rename it to being Hobbiton on the Sound. We are a bit insulated from the world out here, which can be a good thing and maybe a challenge as well. I'd like to talk about the past year. It has been a really good year for the board. We entered into the year in a pretty difficult set of circumstances, both financially and organizationally. And as some of you have heard, I'm going to digress 1 second. Anybody here who's here for their first meeting of the Village Council annual meeting? How many?
Nice.
Wow, great. Thank you for sharing that. We're delighted to have you. Sometimes there's a perception that folks in Port Levo have been here forever, and some of us, not me, but there are some who have been. And then we ask that question, and we find that there are folks every year that are new members of the community. So we're delighted to have you. So I think the challenges that we experienced were addressed by a tremendous amount of energy from the volunteers that you see up here as board members and the others that I mentioned as well. Some of those folks began serving for us before they were even elected last year. And so we spent the last quarter of 2024 really focused on trying to reconstitute our financial base. And as John mentioned, the community support for that effort was significant. And we not only positioned ourselves well to be able to get through 2025, but I believe that we are positioned to be able to maintain our momentum for 2026 and beyond from a financial perspective. So we're grateful, and for all of you who have participated in that, our heartfelt thank you from the board. One of the things that we did to kick off our year was a new experience, I think, for this organization. We went to a local location called Camp Beausite. Is anybody familiar with Camp Beausite? Great. Show of hands. Very interesting. Camp Beausite is a camp and a facility over in kind of beyond Beaver Valley a little bit that serves developmentally disabled children and gives them a camp experience that they wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to do. And so they have a beautiful facility. It's only about a 20-minute drive from here, but it's hidden back in the woods. And so they offer their facility to other nonprofit organizations for meeting space. And so we retreated as a board and spent an entire day together last January and kind of laid out a plan for what we really wanted to try and accomplish here in Port Ludlow in 2025. And I wish it could have been there. We didn't record it specifically, but there was so much energy and there were so many good ideas that came out of that effort. And many of them have been pretty well executed here in the past year. One of the things that we heard when we were asking the community what they would like to see us focus on in the years ahead was kind of a higher level of community involvement. So one of the areas we focused on was the town halls that some of you participated in. So there was a lot of concern about the ending of the development agreement between Port Ludlow Associates and Jefferson County. Jefferson County sent down a representative from their building and lands group, and we had a turnout here, close to 100 people that heard the presentation, and gave us some background and an understanding of what was going on with that. We had the opportunity to host some housing presentations, particularly focusing on the ice picking project that happened here over the past year, last summer actually, I think May, mostly into May, end of April and May, into early June. So our goal was to try to bring information to the community that might not otherwise be readily available, and I think we achieved that, at least to the degree that we felt capable of doing last year. I think we may be able to do even more of that in the year ahead. I think we tried to set up for 3, and I think our third one was the most recent one where we had a fraud presentation that talked about just senior citizens particularly, I think, and fraud awareness in terms of what happens. And has happened and potentially could still be happening here in our community. It's really one of the tragedies of modern life, from my perspective. We actually had a neighbor who was impacted to the tune of almost $20,000 in fraud through a scam, through a local bank, etc. And we think of it as happening other places, but it actually happens right here. It happens in our neighborhoods. It happens in this community. And so just be aware of that. Try and be aware of that for your friends and your neighbors as well, particularly those who are senior, and particularly those who are women, not uniquely gender focused, but women are frequently the victims of this kind of activity. So hope that doesn't happen here in the future. One of the outcomes from our planning session was a lot of energy from a couple of our new members who really wanted to build more community activity. And so Kay, Mal, and Lois Grazioli and others stepped up, and you saw several events throughout the year. There was a community garage sale in the parking lot of the marina, the canine parade coming up in a couple days is another one. There was a large raffle event that happened with a July 5th music concert, I think, at the town center. So those goals were really about trying to address one of our core components, which is to unify, right? So we talk about unify, and Ned and I had just a brief conversation. I have to share this anecdote just because it's so illustrative of the challenge that we have in that context of trying to unify. I was hiking in the Olympics this past summer. I was up in an area called Maiden Peaks, which is up in the Deer Park area, and had done a very nice hike, and was really enjoying my time there. There were a couple of gentlemen already up there, and as sometimes happens, folks ask where you're from. And I said, oh, I'm from Port Ludlow. And the guy I was talking to said, oh, I've got my friend I'm hiking with here. He's from Port Ludlow. I said, oh, that's great. So the gentleman came over. I don't see him in the audience, but I would tell the story regardless. He came over to me and said, oh, you're from Port Ludlow. I said, yes. His next words, folks, North Bay or South Bay? It is such a unique experience here. When my wife and I arrived here 6 years ago, we knew nothing about that. We bought a home that we liked. We liked the area that we were in, and we really had no idea about South Bay and North Bay. And I think it was our first concert where we started meeting some folks that were at the concert, and we noticed very quickly kind of a response, and it was always the same question, like, where are you? And then once they had identified ourselves as South Bay, the conversation either continued or in some cases it didn't. So, you know, it was such a shock and a surprise to us. But when we talk about unifying, that is one of the goals, is to try and bring the community together, to try and get beyond kind of our tribal context of north and south, or independent for that matter, and get us all thinking together as a community. I think another big thing that I would really like to call out, just in terms of the successes that we had, is for those of you that use our website, we have dramatically, in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of most folks that are using it, we have dramatically improved the context and the content and the approach that we're doing with the website now compared to what we had before. And there was a great deal of effort involved in getting to that point. One of the things that we did as part of our retreat was we tried to do kind of a functional reorganization to lay out some new committees, change some other committees in ways that we felt would make them more effective in their goals, in their performance, in their outcomes. And our communications committee, I think, is one that has just done such excellent work in all the areas that they've been focused on. So under communications, we have the community events that we're talking about. We have the website rework that has really allowed us the opportunity to communicate more effectively with the community. And again, for those of you that are here, we're delighted to have you here. Tell your neighbors if they're not using it. Go out to the website. It's easy to find. It's got information on it. We do e-blasts out to those for whom we have email addresses. We do e-blasts out twice a month now that are pretty structured, pretty organized. And we hope that we're hitting the mark in terms of the communications that we're trying to achieve with the community. The other thing, so if you think about the four components that are in our charter: unify, preserve, protect, and promote. I think we do pretty well on the preserve and protect side. We're working hard on the unify side. Promote is a little bit more of a challenge, and I think we have some opportunities in the year ahead to do more of that. One of the things that I've really been excited about is this past year, as we have done some of these events, what we're learning is just how willing the local business community is, and the business community beyond just Port Ludlow, to engage with all of us who live here in the community, right? So when we have sought donations for the pet event coming up, as an example, businesses have been very, very supportive of that. They were very supportive of the raffle last July. And I think we have an opportunity to continue to try and build better relationships with the business community. And I think you'll see more of that in the year ahead. I guess the last thing that I will mention, just in terms of our past year and where we are, I could not be more delighted with the board that is coming in to lead this organization for 2026. With the new members that have stepped in, with those that are returning, I feel very, very confident in saying that I feel, and this is not some exercise in modesty, I truly feel that the board coming in is going to be one of the strongest boards that we will have had in quite a while. And I think you will see really, really good things coming from them. And so I thank all of you, current and returning and candidate board members. Thanks for all of your effort, and we look forward to great things in 2026. For those of you in the audience, just thank you again for being here. That says a lot that you're here participating. We hope that you will engage with us. One of the challenges we have, and I think it's pretty consistent, is simply that trying to understand exactly what a community wants from an organization like ours can be a challenge. The general access to folks is changing over time. People don't really want their emails shared generally, so having an email send out that catches everybody, we don't do that any longer. We catch a very small percentage that we have access to. We're kind of dependent on people coming in to look for information, which is why we focused on the website. So we're trying to make it attractive and bring people in. But we really do want to engage with the community as a whole and understand what your interests are and what you want us to be focused on. There were two things that I hoped to accomplish. This past year that I wasn't completely successful at. One of them was, from a financial perspective, I am grateful for the support that we received. And as I said, I feel like we are much more stable at this point financially than we were, certainly than we were a year ago. What I had hoped to accomplish was a way to stabilize that to an even greater degree so that we would have some guaranteed income coming into the village council on an annual basis. And I thought we might be able to work out a way to accomplish that. And I was not successful, we were not successful collectively in making that happen. So as John Catchell mentioned, we are still completely dependent upon your donations at this point. And we will continue to work on that in 2026 as well, and hopefully get to an even higher level of stability. And I think that's just about it for me. Just stay engaged with us, please, so that we can be responsive, and we're looking forward to working with all of you. All right, we're good. So the community, as all of you probably know, even those of you who are comparative newcomers, this is a community that runs almost entirely on volunteerism. There's hardly anything that you would enjoy doing here that doesn't in some way have its basis in volunteer activity. I wanted to come back, well, I'll finish that later. This is our best estimate of providing a list of names of the volunteers that have impacted the community over time. I always have some apprehension about this because when you talk about 200 plus names on a list, there's always that potential that you miss 201, right? You miss that last person whose name isn't up there. I would encourage you, if any of you here in the audience know of someone who was contributing to the community last year and you don't see their name up here, let us know at that same location on the website. Send a note to info@portlandvillagecouncil.org, and we will send an update in our next e-blast that catches those folks. Our goal is to get everybody, and it's difficult to do, but these are the folks that we're grateful for, and they keep the community going in so many different ways. So give them all a round of applause, if you will. All right, so we will turn the meeting now in the direction of reports from our committee chairs. I wanted to mention one piece of information. I mentioned our communications committee last year and the effort that they did. The first one that you're going to hear from on the committee reports is from Dan McDarvid on the administration side. You all have no idea how many hours are invested in trying to maintain kind of the key requirements of an organization like ours. So we have articles of incorporation, we have bylaws, we have policies and procedures. Those documents and those policies have not been updated for a while. And one of our goals in January was to try and reconcile those documents with current requirements, both legally and organizationally. And Tam and her team did just an amazing job of making that happen, along with the volunteers that helped her. And so I want to say a special thank you to Tam for that effort. And now I'll turn it over to her to talk through her presentation. Do you want to come from up here, or are you going to do it from there?
No,
Okay, great. Maybe to make the elections.
Oh. Okay, pretty good. Can anybody hear me? Way in the back? Speak up, okay. Do that. So what did the administration committee accomplish in 2025? Well, I'm Tamara McDermott, the chair of our administration committee.
Tam, you're gonna need to be closer.
And our other members are Barry Luke and Dave McDermott. Please happen to be related. First, let's talk about our legal documents. A little background of explanation is warranted. Yearly, we review the 3 legal documents that, 1, establish the Port Ludlow Village Council, which are the Articles of Incorporation. 2, state what we do as an organization, which are the bylaws. And 3, how we accomplish these items, which are described in the policies and procedures. Actually, the administration committee accomplished quite a bit this year. We worked diligently to, for most of the year, rewriting 2 of our establishing documents. We updated our bylaws by developing over 20 revisions, mainly to conform to new changes in the revised code of Washington State for nonprofits. Our committee spent over 4 months working on the bylaws. They were adopted by the board of directors on May 1st of this year. Basically, the committee totally and completely rewrote the policies and procedures. It had not been updated for, I would say, at least, oh my, it might be 8 years. It's been a while. So all 46 pages of them were gone through again to code. Again, these flesh out what has been preliminarily stated in the bylaws with accompanying description language. So as new board members join the board, they can study these documents and gain a better understanding of the Port Ludlow Village Council and the workings of the committees. Spent the better part of 5 months on this lengthy document. While the policies and procedures are, it's an evolving, living document. The board of directors chose to adopt what has been accomplished during this year on September the 4th. The committee still has important issues to address in the policies and procedures and will continue to meet monthly or more frequently to complete this process. Now, on to elections. This committee is also responsible for the yearly election of the board of directors. We use various methods to recruit new village council members, such as the voice articles, e-blasts, articles in Nextdoor, flyers and posters, and probably the most important, personal contacts. Since the term of office for each director is 2 years, we elect approximately half of our directors each year. This year, we are electing 5 candidates of the 11-member board. In the past, election packets of the president's message, candidates' statements, volunteer honor roll, and the ballot itself were created and mailed to every owner of real property within the MPR. This was a laborious process involving most of the directors and even spouses who also helped to hand count the results. It was an expensive process, even though we did a lot of the work because printing costs continue to rise and postage increased. Last year, we voted to use a third-party resource that John mentioned, or John Capcho mentioned, to handle our election online. We mailed out postcards informing everyone in the community how to vote and donate at our website. This process cost about 50% less than the manual voting method, simply because of the postage, really, and printing. This year, our communications committee chair agreed to work in tandem with the election committee and created our ballot, the president's message, the candidate statements online using Google Workspace. This brought about substantial cost savings. We owe Jeff Lang, our communications committee chair, a great vote of thanks for sharing his skills and experiences and expertise with your village council in this manner. Let's have him stand and give him a hand of appreciation. So, how did the election work out this year? We had a turnout of 170 voters, which is 9.5% of all the property owners in the NPR. So, where did the rest of them go? Why didn't they vote? We don't know. We're still trying to figure that out. It's easy to do. You just push a couple of buttons on the website, but this is a reduction from the 10.7% response received last year. We will continue to strive to find ways to increase this turnout. We surpassed our 25% quorum requirement with a response of 64.6% of the voting members. Voting members is a little different than owners of property. So that's why it's such a high number. The results of this election will be presented later today in our program. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Lois?
Sorry.
Nope. Communication, Tracy.
Oh, Tracy's first.
Sorry. It's very sketchy.
Jumps, yeah. Jump.
It's either it won't go or it goes too much.
Hey, yeah.
Hi, I am Tracy Geipel. I'm co-chair with Jeff Lang.
Bring the mic nearer to your mouth.
Hello.
Much better.
Is this good? Okay. Anyway, Jeff Lang is co-chair of this communications committee, and he wrote me a script because I could not do this without a script. So thank you. Communications started the year with the goal of updating our website to a more current design that would be easier to maintain and update. We rolled out our new site in April and hope that you have found your way to portludlowvillagecouncil.org by now. If you haven't, please do. PLVC.org will automatically redirect people to our new site, but PLVC.org will be going away soon, so please get in the habit of going to PortLudlowVillageCouncil.org. We are done with the heavy lifting, but do still have some things in the works, like creating a page within the site for local clubs and groups to post their upcoming events, meetings, presentations, etc. If that sounds like your group, let us know, as we will be taking on a few test cases in the next few weeks. As part of that migration, we create a new workspace for the council in the Google ecosystem that allows us space for public documents as well as internal documents, and will eventually house our entire document repository as an archive of past council work. We also set out to update the way in which we communicate with our residents through our e-blasts. We have moved to having more frequent, largely bi-weekly emails that contain info on upcoming council events as well as other events we think would be of interest to residents. I'm going to throw in a plug real quick. Elvis over here would like me to remind everyone that Ludlow Village Players is producing all the King's Winter. This coming weekend is our final set of 3 performances, and I say our because Jeff and I are also the Ludlow Village Players for the Nerd Herd. I do lights, he does sound. And so please, it's a wonderful show. Please come see us. We'd love to have you. Back to Communications has also been busy supporting the larger events that your council has put on in the past year, like this meeting, the election, and our social wellness events, which Lois will speak about next. Take it away, Lois.
So a lot of it's been covered, so by the time I get to the mic up there and back, I'll be done with my presentation. So I'm going to speak from the table. Can everyone hear me?
Yes. We wanted to give Tracy a hand.
John and I are definitely on the same page. He covered quite a bit of my presentation without knowing it, but that's fine. Repetition is the mother of learning, correct? So the goal, one of the cornerstones is to unify the community by holding what Kate Mall, who started this ball rolling fund-raising events versus fundraising, because we don't make a lot of money on these events. We basically just cover our costs and then can donate to the general fund. So we are trying to have 4 events a year, the first of which was the annual outdoor garage sale, where we coupled with LMC's indoor garage sale. And that was very well attended. If you had an opportunity, great. If not, check it out next year, because these are annual events. The Fireside Inn had pulled pork sandwiches that were delicious. Thank you, Diane, who helped organize that part of it. And we had several vendors and wonderful bake sale results, and fun was had by all. Our second event was around the 4th of July. We tailgated with John Scott Realty, who presented the Granny Panties, which is a local dance group and singing group. And our retirees were up there cutting a rug or cutting a sod, as you want to say. Generous gift donations from the community. Howard and I beat the pavement, and we were shocked. Just cold turkey calling, and the response that we got was unbelievable. Some of which were very large donations in excess of $100 that were totally unexpected. You can look at our website for that impressive list of donors. I'm thrilled about our new event starting this Saturday, the first annual PLVC K9 Parade Costume Contest. That's a mouthful, isn't it? We have local businesses like our Parkside Groomer in town, PetSmart, Pet Town, and our local mobile vet, Dr. Jackie, who have donated prizes for 5 categories. The spookiest, the most creative, funniest, best duo, if you want to have 2 dogs or more, and owners with their pets. So the owners also will dress up. So come out for at least the comic relief on that one. Should be a lot of fun. Center Valley Animal Rescue and Jefferson County Humane Society, as well as East Jefferson Fire Rescue, will be on hand to share information and answer any questions. And the Executive Director of Humane Society, Jen Dupree, is going to be our Grand Marshal, and she's going to be wearing a fabulous cape, scepter, and sash that will advertise the event. Registration is continuing online. You don't have to have a pet to come. If your pet is not one like mine, who can participate in the event because of anxiety or whatever, age maybe, we have an online pet photo contest for any kind of pet. That includes exotic pets. So take a picture of your pet, put it online. It's still open, right, Jeff?
The voting is open,
Okay, the voting.
but there's 2 days worth of voting. So if you get in now, you're probably not going to get a lot of
It's
votes.
a lot of
so.
fun. We don't have
But
many
we're happy to put them up.
But they're really cute. The pictures are really cute. There's a couple of flyers on the back table if you want more information. And the string alongs, many of you know who this local group is, are amazing. They perform all over the area free of charge. So we're going to donate our bake sale proceeds to them. And that'll help defray some of their costs. We don't want a wet dog parade, so pray for good weather. The fourth event will be the tree lighting ceremony, and I see some of my choral members here who will be singing at that event down in the village. There's going to be Santa, cookies, hot chocolate, and it's a quick event. I learned that my first year here where I showed up 15 minutes late and it was almost finished. So be there on time at 4 o'clock. The goal of this really is to unify the community. We want to continue in the future with one event per quarter, and this could not, just like John said, could not be done without volunteerism. It is key to any organization like ours. And special thanks and shout out to Barry, who's very incognito over there. But when he gets on stage as our MC, he quite hams it up. So, thank you, Barry, and he's the one that really does all the behind the scenes, keeping us well organized. Thank you for your time and attention.
Did you need any more with that? Did you need to say any more with that one?
Tree lights. I think it's Tam.
Oh,
It's Tam, yeah. It's changing hands.
okay. The mic right by her.
Thank you. I think this will work. So I'll start this with the same as I did the administration committee. What did the holiday tree lighting committee accomplish this past December 2024? It's sponsored by Port Ludlow Village Council and the Port Ludlow Associates with co-chairs Diana Smellin and myself. The committee members included Michelle Alvin Blinger, Brian Deal, Dave McDermott, Anna Moffett, Jim Moffett, Kim Moffett, Susan Pennick, Cheryl Wheeler, Beach Club Aquasize Ladies, and the Port Ludlow Singers. With a great organizational teamwork approach, we accomplished much in a very short time frame, all by enthusiastic volunteers. As chair, it's been my pleasure to work with all volunteers. I have a committee that decorates, that sets up, that takes down, and that makes all the cookies. And I just couldn't do it without all of them. And it's just a wonderful thing that how everything just gets busy and it's cooking and it's picking up ornaments and putting them on bushes. And it's just a grand thing that it all comes together in one day. Publicity included voice articles with colorful poster, an article in Nextdoor, e-blasts, and 18 by 24 inch posters which were placed all over the community, as well 2018 8.5 by 11 flyers. Both the Beach Club and the Bay Club sent invitational information to their members and put our post, or on their electronic bulletin boards. If anybody hasn't guessed by now, public speaking is not one of my fortes. The other thing you might have noticed, those of you that know me or see me around the community, is that I don't have any cane anymore. A very well-known, but I didn't know this person, low vision ophthalmologist in Kirkland, helped me find what's called a scleral contact lens. It covers most, not only of your cornea and your iris, it covers most of the white part of your eye, the scleral. And the last time I went in and had the vision test, I could see 20/40, which is just amazing because I was in the hundreds before. Anyway, back to the holiday lighting. We enlisted a Santa, a singing group, and the holiday light cookie brigade. Port Ludlow Associates provided a structural tree with glowing bright white lights. They also put up lights throughout the village courtyard to add cheer and festivity to the event. The village council provided white lights to cover the bushes in the courtyard and our red shiny nosed reindeer. That's wicker that has been put together with glue and tape and paper clips for about 20 years. We love our reindeer. The committee volunteers hung colorful ornaments on all of the bushes, adding to the joyful atmosphere. The Port Ludlow singers sang 3 holiday songs, then led the audience in singing carols, ending with Santa Claus is Coming to Town, when our special guest Santa Claus comes to the party. Santa explained that it takes a bit of magic to light a holiday tree, and led the crowd in a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and voila, the tree was lit. Santa talked to kids of all ages, including kids my age, and handed out candy cane treats. Meanwhile, the Holiday Lights Cookie Brigade set out hundreds of delicious cookies to share with the attendees. Port Ludlow Associates provided vats of hot chocolate, marshmallows, and candy canes to accompany the cookie treats. About 200 people attended in the cold, wet weather. It was just pouring down rain at 2 o'clock, and I was very worried. It was wet, but it had stopped from raining, thank goodness, by 4 o'clock, and a good time was had by all. By the way, this year's event will occur Saturday, December 6th, again in the village courtyard, from 4 to 6, and I hope you'll all attend. Thank you.
Okay, see if you can do it. Yeah.
My brother's in my on that.
So what is this?
The lights. They're twinkling lights in the median.
Hello, I'm Dave McDermott, and for about the last decade, I've been your chair of the Holiday Lights Committee. The Holiday Lights Committee, well, I use big font, nice too these days. The Holiday Lights Committee is looking forward to continuing this long-standing tradition of lighting the trees in the 4 road medians at the village center to brighten your long winter nights. As noted at last December's annual meeting, this is only made possible by the donation of traffic control services by Lakeside Industries and the donated services of Astound, the bucket trucks and crews who work on the heights of the trees, supported by all of our community volunteers on the ground. Well, it took longer than ever to put the lights up using our new setup configuration for the first time last year. The lights came down in a record short time in the spring. new setup is connecting all the light strings at the trees' saddles in PVC pipes to eliminate exposure to the weather. And it had worked well to a point, but it did not last much beyond the first of the new year. So this led us to shut the lights off earlier than we hoped to. Now those outages may have been due in part to our aging lights. However, there were also difficulties with the power supply at half of the light poles that we use. We have since worked with the county, Public Works Department, and Doubleday Electric to investigate this. This has resulted in the recent replacement of 4 of the 8 GFI outlets. We'll once again use the new setup configuration and our well-seasoned strings of lights and see if the recent electrical work resolves the outage issues. But we've also requested a significant amount to be included in the coming year's budget in the event that we must replace our 208 strings of lights that we put up there. Again, thanks go to Astound, Lakeside Industries, and our volunteers on the ground, and to you for donations that enable us to continue this beloved community tradition. The theme tonight seems to be retirement. So I will let you know that I have decided it's time to let someone else have the opportunity to lead this beloved community tradition. If you're interested or know someone interested in sharing this committee, please contact us at the website. And I'll work with that individual as we put the lights up this November, as is the tradition. Pass along the torch. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jason Wright. I'm the chair of the Port Ludlow Emergency Committee. This is our year in review. We developed some block captain training, some radio operator training. We want to concentrate on recruiting more block captains and radio operators. We updated the community emergency plan to be more comprehensive and scalable, depending on the situation. We also attended the countywide emergency preparedness day and handed out a lot of handouts and kind of shared how we do it in our community with other communities that are out there. We help promote local safety training that goes on at the Jefferson County Library, and then we also presented to the East Jefferson County Rotary Club to secure funds for a new solar generator, so hopefully that'll get approved. We just completed the Great Washington Shakeout this last week. And then right now we're going through the block captain rosters, kind of cleaning those up. We're going to redistribute some of the block captains because some neighborhoods have a lot and some have none. And then we also have a monthly meeting to help coordinate with the fire chief and the Department of Emergency Management. So that's kind of the year in review. Going forward, this next year, we're going to concentrate on setting up, there's the church on the hill. They donated a room to us so we can permanently set that up. That's our Charlie location. So that'll be a radio operator location, kind of operate as the emergency hub in here in Port Ludlow. So we don't have to stand out in the rain. It'll be a permanent location. Securing the solar generator, and then also working on a texting type system that works locally, or working out a WhatsApp group where we can get communication out instantly to the area unless the cell phone goes down. And then I also want to thank, it takes nearly 100 people to keep this village safe, between the radio operators and the block captains and the committees. So I have several core people that I want to thank, and if I miss anybody, I apologize. But Jeannie Price has helped out quite a bit with being involved in the DART program, the CERT program, and helping develop block captain training. Richard Sherman's developed the community preparedness. He wrote an app for FEMA and for reporting and that stuff. And then he also donated radio equipment and repeaters so that we're covered for the area. And then he also helps coordinate with the radio operators and the block captains. And then Jay Bass, he does the Great Washington Shakeout program. And then I'd also like to thank Tracy and Jeff here on the board. They've been representation on our committee and also helped put up the information on the website for us. And just be our liaison out to the community. Any questions?
Hi there, folks. Oops. Can you hear me now?
Gotta be real close.
Okay.
You gotta get real close.
As close as I can get. Okay. First I have to tell you, I'm unscripted. I don't have any paper in front of me. I just ad lib. The role of government business relations really started when we had our retreat. And John asked what each of us really interests were. I raised my hand. It's my belief that whatever we do takes relationship building. And so when I first started in my committee, I asked for two folks to join me. I asked Mark Torres, the general manager of South Bay Community Association. I asked Brian Bellman to be my advisors. We were building this out of whole cloth. And so from there, we started building relationships. We started building relationships with our businesses, with our government partners, but most importantly, this is what John had spoken to too, North and South. Building relationships between the Beach Club, LMC, and South Bay Community Association, that has been where I have put my efforts. I see some of the board members from LMC here today, Karen, Russ. I attend both their board meetings and I go to their workshops. My purpose is to learn and to build the relationships and then to tie these folks together. And where our success has been so far today is twofold. One is in activities where we've gotten together, when I didn't say Sue, I know you're not on the board anymore, I gotta say a thing. So Sue Milner, who really does a lot of the activities in the North, with LMC, even though now she lives in South Bay, just so you know. And so we got together this essentially group of folks from Michael Stuber here from South Bay, Jeff Lane, and sure I'm gonna miss somebody, and myself, and Lois. Oh my God, I forget Lois. This is why I needed notes. You were right. And so once we did that, I apologize, Kara's Sargent. And so we got together. My goal was, what can we do together? Number one, we can learn from each other and share information. Two, is there things that we can do together to start bridging, right? This unification is going to take all of our effort, and it really was set many years ago when North Bay was built, and it was one organization. And South Bay Community Association, we have 17 different villages, right? 14 of which have presidents, and so it's a different mix. But what's important is that we work together. The second part is an emergency management. The LPC. We have our own committee, but LMC has preparedness. We have management in case of an event. They have preparedness. And so Jeff Lang and I went to the last meeting of the LMC preparedness, and with the idea, let's join forces. Let's work closer together in preparing for a fire,
preparing for earthquake, it doesn't matter until the day it happens, right? And that's when we're all gonna be going, who's gonna save us? We're gonna have to save ourselves, right? So with that in mind, and with South Bay, I appreciate everything they do and what they do, but emergency management has really not taken off there, and my goal is to really work with all of the villages in South Bay and get them involved, and then comes to essentially the mother lode, which is the South Bay Community Association. So that's the work we're doing. I have been a committee of one, in truth, but now, going forward, I have a committee of three. I have Gary Hammond, I have Chris Wolf, myself, and now we can expand the work that we have done. So that's my report. Thank you.
Go ahead. You went too far.
Did I?
Yes.
I didn't see it go by.
I would like that.
We'll touch just very briefly on the Utilities Committee. Compared to some of the years that I've been here, we had a fairly quiet year here. And so we had the ice digging project, which resulted in improved water quality for a great many of our residents moving forward. From a maritime perspective, Phil keeps track of abandoned boats in Ludlow Bay and provides appropriate communications to the Sheriff's Office and other agencies to keep track of those and try and deal with them. But overall, it has been quiet. I think we'll see a higher level of involvement from the village council utilities folks in 2026. But looking forward to really just continuing to stay focused as we have. When you look at the areas that we focus on, so from an electricity perspective, we did our electricity from the Public Utility District. Jameson Hahn comes from the PUD to every one of our board meetings, month after month. They are very communicative, very open, they're there for questions, etc. And so we're grateful to have their participation. Diana and occasionally her representative will be there representing housing, so we kind of know what's going on from a water and sewer perspective. And those are another reason why you might want to stop by the board meetings from time to time. If you have questions specifically around utility-related issues, you can get face-to-face with folks and get your answers. So, recycling, there will be some changes coming in 2026. I think the details are still not completely finalized at this point. Our understanding is that as Jefferson County transitions to a new vendor, we will be losing our drop site here in Port Ludlow. So the opportunity that we've had to take our recycling up to the town center and deposit there, I think that will be going away. We don't have a firm date on that, but I understand it's going to be probably in the April or May timeframe. Some of you have been interested in the styrofoam recycling program that we have initiated here. We had a brief hiatus on that due to changes in federal funding of OLICAP, which impacted our transportation capabilities. We are bringing that back. We've had our first two collections up at Fort Worden for the Jefferson, for the Port Townsend organization, and hopefully we'll be able to reintroduce it here in Port Ludlow, hopefully within the next 30 to 60 days. In the meantime, if you can accumulate your styrofoam, keep it clean and dry, you can take it up to Fort Worden twice a month on the dates that are out there on their website, and if not, hang on to it here, and then when we get our stuff squared away down here, we can bring it to a local I think that covers it for utilities, yes.
We had a twitchy finger over here and we skipped over trails.
It was his.
It was mine. But it's a committee effort.
It is.
Absolutely.
So
It's the computer. I got it.
So our gentleman from, yes,
Oh, okay.
some questions from the audience?
I just wondered, who would be the right resource to talk to about having some kind of recycling like we once did with the glass and someplace in Portland? Who would be the person to talk to about that?
Jefferson County Solid Waste. Oh, sure, sorry, the question was, who could the questioner approach with regard to recycling here in Port Ludlow? That's managed by Port Ludlow Solid Waste, I believe, is the division. And if you look on their website, you can find contact information there and approach them. To answer part of your question, glass recycling is currently available up at the transfer station in Port Townsend, again, so you can take your glass up to that location, and there's recycling there. We just don't have it here in Port Ludlow at this point. And sorry, there was another question from Frank.
Well, kind of see dynamic. So we're not going to have any recycling here in Port Ludlow, and is there a way to challenge that, or is that just a federal?
So the question was, are we going to have any recycling here in Port Ludlow? My understanding is that the recycling that will be available will be provided by the same organization that's providing your waste pickup. So you'll have containers available to do curbside recycling. But my understanding is that's all that will be available is curbside. There's not going to be a drop site location. Yes?
Just a comment, I don't believe they're doing glass. They're not, at least last time I talked with them. I think you're talking about Waste Connections.
Yes.
They're not doing glass.
I just dropped it off today, but they are.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's definitely happening at the transfer location.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying about the curbside. I believe that all of the items that we currently recycle will be available for curbside, for curbside pickup, once the new contract is in place. Yes?
Services, communications, is there any contact with Astound and, relationships within the village?
In the past, there have been attempts to provide some level of coordination between Astound and other commercial vendors in the area, and those have not been particularly successful for us from the village council perspective. And so, short answer is no, we really don't have any direct connections into Astound or Verizon or T-Mobile or any of the other vendors that provide services to us currently.
Love to see Wi-Fi come.
Absolutely, and Jameson talks about that from the Public Utility District. There is if you go out to the PUD website, I believe there is an on-site form that you can fill out to express your desire for fiber here in Port Ludlow. So as they do the rollout, it has come into other areas, it hasn't come to Port Ludlow yet, and to some degree that's probably going to be impacted by the number of folks that ask for it. So go to the PUD website and let folks know that you really like to see it come to Port Ludlow as well. Yes, and back.
Sorry to interject again, but I have personally been in contact with the county about the fiber optics, and they're willing to meet in a forum such as this to talk to the community about the possibility of doing that. So I didn't know what the best forum would be, but
Absolutely.
I volunteer myself as a liaison if anybody wants to get in contact with me.
That's great.
Personally, I'd be willing to work with you people to be a liaison of some sort toward that, because it's something that's important to me.
Thank you. So the speaker was volunteering to coordinate communication between the county regarding fiber optic coming into Port Ludlow and talking about a venue to do that. One of the really easy ways to accomplish that is to do it at a board meeting. So we can add an agenda item and a time slot to bring people into the monthly board meetings. Jameson will be there, and he can bring other folks with him specifically in the fiber optic program, and we could talk about that as a community-wide event. But thanks for that suggestion. All right, and our trails person.
John, before you go on, can we get your name for generously volunteering to be the liaison? I can't see from up here, but.
I'm not Larry Scott. No, Larry's out of town, and he asked me to fill in for him to review what the Trails Committee's been doing the last 12 months. My name is Jerry Keck, and I've been a volunteer with the Trails Committee for almost 3 years now. Bryson, will you to advance the slides?
I'll do it. You ready?
Okay, basically what we have accomplished so far this year is we have built 3 new trails, and they're for a total distance of close to 2 miles. And those trails consisted of 2 bridges. And the bridges are built by Larry. Larry is quite skilled at designing and building bridges. One of them crossed Ludlow Creek. Hang on, I'm
Not there? Sorry.
And the other
I'm so
one-
excited.
The other one is across a intermittent stream off the Springboard Trail. Okay, these pictures show some of the work we've done. This picture here is on the Ludlow Creek View Trail, and we started that last fall after, I guess, your last meeting. And this trail parallels Oak Bay Road, and it's between Oak Bay Road and Ludlow Creek. And it's about 3/4 of a mile long.
Oh, there's.
And these are pictures of the volunteers, some of which you might see in the audience here helped build this trail. And as you can see, it's during the winter months, it can be quite muddy, and but that's the part of the fun, getting out there and getting wet, dirty, and making good trails. In this case, we're improving trails. This is part of one of the trails that goes along the railroad grade, the McCormick Rail Trail. And railroad grades are flat, they don't drain well, so some of our trails need extra help during the winter months to keep them dry. Go ahead. This is some pictures during the winter months when we're constructing some of the trails. The volunteers were willing to brave the elements and get out there and continue to have fun days. This is the bridge I mentioned. This is a bridge that was constructed on an old logging railroad, a logging truck road bridge. And what Larry figured out how to do is to take the stringers, that's these big wooden logs here that used to carry log trucks, and he figured out how to put the lumber across those stringers to make a very safe walking bridge. And this goes over Ludlow Creek, just down from Phillips Road. In addition to that, along the trail, we have installed a number of benches. Jim Mueller constructs these benches, and they provide nice views of the creek and the falls. Another shot. Go ahead.
Oh, Mary's, hang on.
One of our fun days consisted of clearing out the DNR trail that was covered by blown down small duck fir, and we proceeded to cut through the trees and cut them into 16-inch logs, probably about 4 or 5 cords worth that was turned over for firewood for the local community. The signs have been put up. These are on the Creekview Trail again. Some of the things that you can see along that trail if you get out there and get to hike it. April, we put together what we call the Scotch Broom Remediation Day. And what it really is we go after invasive species that are in the community. It was traditionally started with Scotch broom, but most of the broom has been eliminated. So we've expanded it to tansy ragwort and English ivy as well. This is the construction of the Springboard Trail, and you can see the small bridge that goes across the intermittent stream there on that trail. It's at the end of Mount Wilder. Pictures of the volunteers building the Springboard Trail. Just more shots of the construction. And we have to maintain the trails during the summer months, and that usually involves cutting away the blackberries or repairing some of the drainage structures that get plugged up during the winter months.
It's not,
Triple.
it's triply weird.
And the last trail we built this summer was the extension of the Oak Bay Trail, and we extended from Walker to, from Swansonville Road to Walker. It's about a quarter mile long. Very heavy blackberry. We got stuck in there quite often. Go ahead. Just another picture of the volunteers.
Oh.
And another picture of the volunteers. The last trail we're starting on is the final extension of the Oak Bay Trail, which will run from Mount Walker down to around the Bay Trail near the cemetery. It's currently under review, and once we have the okay to build that trail, we'll construct that one. This is a summary of the volunteer hours for the year. We logged 1,842.25 hours, and that is converted to dollars by two measurements. One's from the state of Washington at $34.79 an hour, and the other's from the U.S. conversion, and depending on which you use, $64,000 worth of volunteer work, or about $77,000 of volunteer work. Looking forward, like I said, we'll be hopefully complete the extension of the Oak Bay Trail, securing grants from the LTAC for more map printing. We have more clearing and improving work to do in the McCormick Loop. And finally, we will recognize Port Ludlow as a destination hiking village.
I heard that there's an idea that we're going to get a new
Housing?
brochure for all these trails.
Yes.
A new map. You need a new map? Yeah, a new map is under construction. John Fillers does our map, built for it, and those funds will hopefully help us print a bunch of new maps. But they are available on the QR code. If you go to the maps, you can download the map, the current version on your handouts.
There's too many trails.
Jerry?
I'll come talk to you, anyhow.
All right, and then that's it for me. Thank you. Jerry and I did coordinate, but I have an announcement with trails. First, I want to thank I'm the liaison for the Port Ludlow Village Council to the Trails Committee. It's a great honor. More importantly, they're the most fun folks that you they're dedicated to our trail system. Larry Scott cracks the whip, but they all have done so much. But I want you to know where that $4,000 comes from. $1,000 a year comes from South Bay Community Association. $1,000 a year comes from the LMC. $1,000 a year comes from Port Ludlow Associates. And $1,000 a year comes from Port Ludlow Village Council. That's $4,000. In addition to that, Port Ludlow Village Council carries, as part of our policy, additional insurance for those working on the trails. really why I came up and asked to speak was yesterday, we had the largest donation to the trails in the history of trails. And so I went to go meet this person today, this morning. I happen to know this person because I walk our dogs with my wife, Woodbridge. This woman allowed me to speak her name to tell her story. Her name is Alice Oliver. Her contribution is $3,000.
Wow.
Why did she make that contribution? This is what I wanted to know.
Speak up loud.
Okay, I really wanted to know why. So when I went up to speak with her, we sat, know each other a bit, and she told me her story of moving here 25 years ago as a single woman, retired from the CEO, and how she wanted to give back, and how she first chaired the Woodbridge Village at first, but then joined the hiking club and started walking our trails. And it became her life, walking these trails all throughout the village. And so she wanted to give back. She didn't want attention, but she allowed me to speak for her. And as long as I'm at it, I also have to say she also donated $1,500 towards our emergency management, which will go to the KLPC, and we will use that the way that it should be for the whole community. Anyway, thank you very much.
Back. There.
So thank you, presenters, committee members and chairs, etc. We're starting to get to the conclusion here. Wanted to share some acknowledgments and appreciation. We exist in this community, and the things that we're doing like this only happen because of our relationship and collaboration with other entities. So I want to thank Ludlow Maintenance Corporation, Beach Club, Brian Belmont. We alternate venues back and forth between Beach Club and Bay Club for these meetings. So we are grateful for their hosting of those events. Same with South Bay Community Association, Bay Club, and Mark Torres. Makes it possible for us to do these kind of meetings here in this venue. We have been given access recently to conference rooms in both Sound Bank and Port Ludlow Brokers Association for some of our committee meetings. As the Bay Club and the Beach Club get busier and busier, finding space for our committees together becomes a little more challenging, and so they are very gracious in hosting us pretty much on an as-needed basis. I want to thank Port Ludlow Associates and Diana. One of my goals in taking on this role a year ago was in the context of unifying. It's not just about North Bay and South Bay, it's really about providing a method and a collaborative effort between all of the entities that are here. That includes Port Ludlow Associates, and Diana has been tremendously supportive of our efforts throughout the year, and I want to thank you for that very, very much. There are some folks that I know personally didn't end up on our list that should have. For me personally, I wanted to thank Jim Moffitt. Jim, is Jim here? I wanted to thank Jim Moffitt. Jim was a great help to me as I was transitioning into the president's role about a year ago. I mentioned what happens during our board meetings. Greg Brotherton, our county commissioner, has been very consistent in coming to our board meetings, presenting as much information as he can on what's going on from a county government perspective and how it impacts Port Ludlow. Already mentioned the PUD, and we're grateful for them. There's a gentleman that I think some of you may not know, some of you will remember, that he also was very helpful this past year as we transitioned into our new website. Tom Sprandell, anybody remember Tom? Here, show of hands. Tom moved to Chicago, and despite his move to Chicago, continued to support Port Ludlow associations, volunteer groups, etc., with web design and web support from his location in Chicago. And I don't know whether he has any still left on his list. He was really trying to retire away from that, but he was very helpful for us. I think the last closing comments that I would make as I leave this role is to just reemphasize my personal perspective and what I tried to communicate through our board, which is that we all thrive in this community on the basis of collaboration and cooperation. And indeed, we might be limited on the sound, but we have an opportunity here to do those things without the same kind of impact that happens maybe at the state or even at the county level, certainly not at the national level. We can make it work here, and I hope that our board, moving forward, will continue that effort. We are all interdependent here. Port Ludlow Associates does not thrive without the support of the community. We don't thrive as community members without the support of the various entities that Port Ludlow Associates brings to us. The Bay Club and the Beach Club, they work independently, and yet it all comes together, and we all share in the benefit of the collaborative effort. So my hope, certainly, is that that effort will continue, and I appreciate the board's support for that during this past year. What do we have left? Is this some final acknowledgement time here?
Yes, yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Election results?
Oh, election results. You gonna do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
But the other side didn't show. Members' comments.
No, yeah, no, I know.
As I said earlier during my administration committee report, we had 107 ballots that were cast. We were very happy to hear that 138 of those people wanted to be added to our mailing list. We send out what's called an e-blast two times a month to keep people involved and aware of what's going on in our community. In terms of approving our minutes, we had that on the ballot also to approve the minutes from last year's annual voting members meeting. 167 said yes, 2 said no, and 1 didn't vote. Now, in terms of the board of directors, if you would please stand while I call your name. Tracy Geipel and Jeff Lang, both will be elected to the board for another 2 years. And I'm really excited to introduce the 3 people that have joined us for the first time. Again, most of these people came and started attending our meetings, our workshops, and helping us out in so many different ways. And I'm
You're in
We'll
trouble.
do that after this.
So, many of you who've been here as long as I have or longer, probably already know about the contributions that Tam and Dave have brought to this community over time. The exact number of years is not real clear, 14 to 15 years, I believe, that they have supported the village council and other volunteer efforts here. There is hardly an activity that happens in this community that doesn't somehow get attached to the name of either Tam or Dave or both. They are just folks that have been quite literally the backbone of a lot of our volunteer efforts here. And so this year's board wanted to present them with this plaque, and the plaque says, Tam and Dave McDermott, with appreciation for your years of dedicated public service and strong leadership of the Port Ludlow Village Council 2012 to 2025. So please give these folks a little things here. So this is a genuine Mighty Fleet Rescue Force bucket truck that we are providing to Dave McDermott as a memory of his many, many years bringing holiday lights to the Port Ludlow. So Dave, you're very welcome. Those of you that know Tam know that she's a parliamentarian par excellence. Keeps me, well, trying to keep me in line. I was a very poor student. She had a difficult time doing that. This is an artifact. This is the Port Ludlow gavel, Port Ludlow Village Council gavel that has been here for quite a long time. We don't use that gavel regularly any longer, and so we, Tam, are providing this to you as a memento of your many years, and you're only not allowed to use it on Dave. So, truly, these are the folks, and others. You know, these are two that are here, but the reality of this community is that there are others that are not here right now, not being honored, but have been doing the same thing, sustaining the community over time, and with a lot of volunteer effort, going back many, many years. And so you're kind of representatives for all of them. And so we're very grateful, and we thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
There is one somewhere. John's coming. We gotta give John his. And John his.
Is that a signal for us?
Yes, that's a signal.
Thank you.
All right. So we have heard,
Yeah, go ahead.
so we've heard some comments already. We're going to open this up for comments.
John,
Yes.
one moment, we have, Tam needs the floor.
I need the floor. I haven't been up here enough.
Bring your gavel.
Yeah.
Bring your gavel.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read this because I read large print, but this says, in grateful acknowledgement for the contributions made on behalf of the Port Ludlow Village Council, this certificate of appreciation is presented to John Goldwood for your service and leadership in this community, serving as the Village Council President, and for under the PLBC, 2.0 for our village in the woods by the bay, and all the board members signed this. And then we have a thank you card that we'd like you to open.
Just to clarify, when we met a year ago, we talked about reimagining Port Level Village Council, and we were trying to figure out what to call it. So with great creativity, we called it PLBC 2.0. We're a pretty creative group.
It's re-enlistment papers.
Yes, please.
Somebody needs to find out for.
So, I'm a TV card that says you made such a difference, and it's so deeply appreciated, and to the board, you all have to know how much I appreciated sharing this time with you this past year. It's been deeply moving and really satisfying, and Chrissy and I will enjoy a very nice dinner at Finisterre in Port Townsend, thanks to your generosity.
There's an envelope
It's
for
been
John
a
Contra,
real
too.
honor and a privilege to work with John. John is a consummate professional and has a wonderful focus on the bigger picture as well as the smaller ones.
He will be missed.
He will be missed very much, and we appreciate everything that he has done. He has been a very good and wonderful leader for us, and it's been my personal pleasure to serve with him. Thank you.
John Cacho.
Don't shake your head, get up there. Come on, get up there.
Yeah. Am I supposed to get up there?
Yes,
Yeah. One last time.
just got a little something, something.
Come on, come on.
Just a little something, something for the treasurer.
John's a little shy.
So John came to us, was one of those volunteers who showed up before we actually launched 2.0 and agreed to step in as our treasurer. And so had a huge impact for us this past year, and John, we're very, very grateful. So this certificate of appreciation says, in grateful acknowledgement for the many contributions made on behalf of the Port Level Village Council, this certificate of appreciation is presented to John Cacho for your service and leadership in the community, serving as the village council treasurer and finance committee chair for our village in the woods by the bay. And so you too have a little something here. We won't need to open in front. Does anybody remember how you used to have to open presents in front of other people?
We don't have to.
I have to.
We don't have to.
You're allowed to not do that. Thank you so much. All right. Member comments. Dave has a microphone back there. Anyone who would like to ask questions,
What's that?
comment, etc., you're welcome to.
Later.
And you're the only thing that's kind of between the wine and the cheese.
Yeah, that's what
I'll
we need.
shut him down, John.
Her question, I believe, was who's president since I'm stepping down. So what happens in our process here at the Village Council is we have newly elected board members, we have our returning board members. They will be adjourning briefly to another meeting room here, and they will elect officers from that board for the next year. So we will maybe even be able to announce that before the line's up. But thank you for the question. So it's a process thing. It's kind of how we work it that way. The officers are representing the entire board rather than just last year's board. Yes?
Just a quick thank you to you, John, and all the board members that are outgoing and the new board members that are incoming. Just as a resident here, I really deeply appreciate the work that you guys do to help keep us as community members plugged in. So I like to say informed. It's a really important thing these days, getting factual information, helpful information, stuff that helps us improve our life here in Port Ludlow. So thanks again for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Other comments from the floor?
Is the PLBC a 501c3?
Yes.
Yeah, the question was, is PLBC a 501c3? The answer is yes, we are.
So your donations are tax deductible.
Yeah, check with your. And you can make them today.
Yes.
I noticed when you were doing the financials on the trails, and if you're a 501c3, there are some of those hours, did you present that? Because the hours, people sometimes donate their hours and they're able to, I know in some nonprofits that I work for, if you donate hours, you can actually write off that in-kind contribution on your taxes. Is that?
Insofar as I'm aware, we do that only to represent value to the community.
Yes, okay.
We're just letting folks know
Yeah.
what that means.
Okay.
And it's a nice recognition of the value beyond just the trails themselves.
Yes.
It's the community impact.
Yeah, that's great. And some people might not know that, but there's an added benefit too if you want to write off in-kind contributions to nonprofits.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to know.
All right. I think we're beyond member comments. Today's presentation and the draft minutes will be posted to our website at portluddlowvillagecouncil.org. Our next annual members meeting, Tam, do we already have a date established for that?
It will be the first Thursday of October.
Okay.
I don't know the date.
So the next annual board meeting will be the first Thursday in October of 2026. And in the meantime, please don't forget there's a question here in the back. David.
But one thing I'm curious about is, what's the crime dynamic? Anything?
Crime?
Crime. We don't talk about crime
Stinking
or
crime in Port Ludlow.
emergencies in the community, but
We're a
I.
happy
don't allow
village.
It's against the law.
Where do you go for crime statistics for Port Ludlow?
Sheriff,
If you were, so the question from the floor is where would we go for crime statistics in Port Ludlow?
Yeah,
Because that would be the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office.
Right.
They can provide that information.
So we don't talk about anything like that in a meeting like this.
We generally have not discussed crime here because it's generally been a pretty small part of our experience.
The Port Townsend Leader publishes a sheriff's law in their paper, and you can actually see the notes of that, in Port Ludlow, the sheriff's law.
Oh, yeah, I purposely.
They publish it in their paper.
We know you're a culprit. You know my greenback.
Did we address the question successfully?
I don't think I've ever really heard this comment said again.
Okay, so the question came up around crime statistics. We don't have, we on the village council do not maintain a crime statistics base for Port Ludlow. Jefferson County Sheriff does retain that. And if you're interested in a week-to-week report, the Port Ludlow, or the Port Townsend Leader publishes sheriff's reports that are published in the newspaper every week. And they include the location of the activity.
And I would add to that, John, sort.
Right.
That's
And
true.
my own observation is, most of what you will see in the sheriff's report is beyond the boundaries of the NPR.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. All right, folks, that final comment that I started with is don't forget about the board meetings, monthly board meetings, and then we do workshops, so the board
Another
meeting.
question.
Sorry.
Dan.
Dan?
I will wait adjourn.
He wants the
Meeting
one.
of Port Level Village Council annual meeting adjourned at 4:55 PM.
We'll do them during the reception.
Hold on to your ticket. I'm not in charge of the raffle tickets.
Raffle